Let's see if Oklahoma State calls a timeout.
Oklahoma State trying to steal a possession here at the end of the first half, where if they go get some points.
Oklahoma State has called their first charge timeout.
It's a bonus.
Of the first half. 30 seconds in length. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute 37 seconds, please. 1:37.
Rivalry weekend rolls on tonight on ESPN. Number 5 Florida State without Travis Jordan already, or Jordan Travis is already in the ACC championship game. They'll take on Florida, who's without their quarterback Graham Mertz. And then on ABC, number 1 Georgia, already in the SEC championship, squares off against Georgia Tech for the 115th time. These two teams, BYU and Oklahoma State, haven't played since 1976. And you look at Florida State and Florida, both have a couple of active streaks. One would like to get off the schneid.
It's hard to believe that it's been that one-sided in that series. 17 straight wins.
Well, that's overall. That's not.
I mean, overall, I'm just saying that's tough.
Fake punt. It's complete. Big gator. BYU. The hurdle all the way to the 25-yard line.
Tyler Batty in on special teams. He does everything for this team. For BYU, he's a good run stopper, I mentioned earlier. Their best pass rusher, mentioned that earlier. And can he catch passes as well? Nice throw there with Batty finishing things off. BYU came to win, Anish.
They came to win, and Kalani Sitake today, he already tried an onside kick. Now a fake punt, a score on an end around. He brought the entire spice rack to Stillwater.
How about the speed on Batty as well? Big defensive lineman at that size, trucking down the middle of the
BYU
field
has
at
called their third and
275.
final charge time out of the half.
So BYU with the play clock running down again will use a timeout. 58 seconds to go. Kark, you alluded to it earlier. Kalani Sitake not afraid to take a risk.
His guts are tremendous, and so fitting that it's Tyler Batty, who's been with the program for a while. I spoke to Tyler this week. He said things haven't gone as planned. They had high expectations for the season, but he said the trust that the team has in one another and their ability to persevere, not one quitter. And he made it clear, he said it twice, not one quitter on this team. So they're 5-6, backs against the wall. They got a coach who's rolling the dice in a team full of believers.
Well, and it's tough when you have 8 starters on both sides of the ball coming back for BYU this year. There were lofty expectations by fans, by the team, the coaches, everything, and it just hasn't gone that way when you look at the tough schedule that BYU had to face. I tell you what, there is no quit, and there's certainly none today here in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
One timeout has been used by BYU on this drive, so they're out of timeouts. Retzlaff off play action, incomplete, intended for Mason Fakahua.
He can deliver it, can he? That's why you start to look at Retzlaff, and he throws for 45-96 last year at Riverside City College. 44 touchdown passes to go along with all that production, all that yardage. First team All-California Junior College.
Overlooked coming out of high school, senior year, washed away by COVID in California. Oklahoma State brings the blitz. Man-on-man coverage, and it's incomplete. Wanted Hill, and he was draped by Corey Black.
Hill can take the top off the coverage. He made a big catch earlier in this game in the second quarter, and he just opens up their passing game. And now Rex gets himself going. Chase Roberts gets going. There's just somebody else. Cody Epps, who made a big play in the passing game. He gets going. So one added piece helps so much.
Rex, the tight end, has been so good. He'll stay in the block. Retzlaff's throw is incomplete. Wanted Roberts, 4th down, and BYU will likely bring the kick team on. They do. Chance to tack on 3 more with 42 seconds to go in the half.
Kalani Sitake told us he's comfortable with Will Ferrin somewhere around the 49 and in that area. he's going to be somewhere around 42 yards here on the season, 4 or 5 between the 40 and 50-yard line.
And perfect inside 44. From 42. Farron's kick is good, and it's 24-6. BYU.
And getting
37 seconds left in the half.
And getting the ball first to start the second half are the Cougars.
I'm not sure a lot of folks saw this coming. BYU, Andre, until today, had not led by more than 8 points on the road all season.
It's something that, you know, if you're a BYU fan, you are celebrating right now and just hoping to get to the finish line. If you're Oklahoma State, you're concerned. If you're an Oklahoma State fan, you are concerned because of what's at stake with a loss in this game. A win puts you in the conference championship game. A loss eliminates you and uplifts your Oklahoma, your rival, into the position to go play Texas once again.
Now, they came back last week down 23-9 at one point against Houston. 24-6 against a BYU team that made a lot of strides in a game they felt they should have won last week against Oklahoma. Here comes Presley. Lost the football.
They're going to have it back. Someone got on
it up. Oklahoma State has it. 30 seconds to go. You're down 24-6, Andre. How much do you try with 2 timeouts?
I think you still have to try to get points because you're down in a game that's so important. You've got any time on the clock. You've got to try to go get points, and you have yourself a senior quarterback in Bowman. Hopefully he is in tune with what you're doing offensively, especially in your 2-minute offense, to spread them out and at least go get yourself a field goal. Man, physicality being brought by BYU.
Both safeties well off the line for BYU. Try a delay with Gordon. Patient run, gets to the outside and gets out of bounds.
Smart got himself out of bounds. Clock stops at about 23 seconds or so. And now you're looking to hit something. You can run plays even over the middle because you still have a timeout left. 2 timeouts, actually.
BYU rushes 3 with a spy. Again, the check down to Gordon. Cat and mouse. He goes out of bounds. Pushed out by Von Pichon.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
Gordon wanted a late hit, so did his crowd. It's a loss on the play. The kicker for Oklahoma State, Alex Hale. Mike Gundy said if you've got an end-of-half, end-of-game situation where you need a kick, he'd push it to 55, 57 even. So
got to get there.
That means you got to get to about the other team's 40 to give your squad a chance. Bowman didn't have anywhere to go with it.
And that zone so salty right now for BYU, mixing up some looks, trying to keep Alan Bowman confused back there, and they're doing a pretty good job of it here at the end of the first half.
For this BYU defense, their 2 points of emphasis. Stop Ollie Gordon. He's got 14 carries for 69 yards. The other one was confuse the quarterback.
Confuse the quarterback, and they also wanted to tackle well in space, and they've been able to do exactly that for the most part.
Gordon going east-west. And the first half comes to an end on that play. Where really the Cougars' mistakes, that's what ultimately doomed them against the Sooners. And let's check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Nish, you saw the onside kick, you saw the fake punt. I just asked Kalani Sitake moments ago why. He said we're 5-6 and we need to get into a bowl. He said he was upset that he hadn't been that aggressive throughout the course of the year. He's rolling the dice and his players are feeling the energy. He also made a point that the guys up front on both sides of the ball have been a deciding factor thus far.
Yeah, BYU right now, they can hit on 18. Retzlaff, zone read keeper, and devoured by Kendall Daniels. The Oklahoma State rover who last year was the defensive freshman of the year in the conference.
Daniels, sideline to sideline player, great measurables at 6'4", 213. Big safety or slot rover, as they like to call him here. But a big play here to start the second half. And paint still probably peeling off the wall in the Oklahoma State locker room after Coach Gundy's halftime speech.
Four-man rush. Retzlaff throws the screen. Robbins tackled for a loss back at the original line of scrimmage. 4th and 10, and the Cowboys come out of the gates and get a 3-and-out defensively.
Yeah, really nowhere to go with the football down the field for Jake Retzlaff. And so he's forced to check it down. It's just about 4 Cowboy defenders came up and made a nice stop for a loss.
Rico to punt. This time it's a true punt, and Presley will let this bounce. Takes an Oklahoma State bounce and down at the 36. Kark, after the UCF loss, the following day when the team met, Mike Gundy was calm. How was he at halftime?
Beyond calm. I was actually shocked. I mean, look what's riding on this game. You win, you go to the Big 12 championship, right? Nothing else has to happen. You control your own destiny. He was super calm, he was relaxed, and you felt a sense of confidence too. He said they lost their balance offensively, and that's what they need. He said they were relying on one of the pass or the run too much later in that second quarter, but expect serious balance in Alan Bowman. He told his quarterback, just relax.
Gordon picks up the blitz. Bowman throws, and he's got Presley across midfield, who wiggles his way inside the 45 of BYU, a gain of 21.
A nice relaxed throw there by Alan Bowman to Presley, his leading receiver, and they need to figure out how they're going to get Presley more involved and how to open up some more running room or holes for Ollie Gordon, their 2 playmakers.
5 catches for Presley, 15 last week. He's the motion man. Bowman moves the pocket, finds Presley in the flat, out of bounds across the 40 for a gain of 5, pushed out by Jacob Robinson.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon had 25 carries last week. He's at 15 now. Presley had 15 receptions last week. He's only at 6. So he had to force feed those 2 guys the entire second half and figure out how to get them going.
Gordon is the running back in the pistol, the nation's leading rusher. The fake to Gordon, the slant caught by Leon Johnson, and using that big 6'5" frame to pull Cougars inside the 15.
Now they run the double slant with Presley as well as Johnson the third, and Bowman decides to go to the second slant route, which kind of clears itself because of the route Presley ran. It drew Eddie Hackard inside and cleared a nice little throwing lane out for Bowman to hit his big target, Leon Johnson.
Johnson stepped up earlier this year when Jaden Bray was out. His team has dealt with injuries at wide receiver. Stribling, Shetron. Bray was out for a while. Going to the end zone. A flag down intended for Presley.
And they're shadowing Presley with Eddie Hackard, so he is traveling with Brennan Presley all over the field. He got him for maybe a hold on that play.
Pass interference, number 5, defense. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
See where they get Hackard. You see him traveling with Presley, so you know it's man-to-man. And just to grab the jersey. At some point, you got to let it go, Eddie. They will see it.
Hackard had the pick 6 earlier. 24 unanswered by BYU after Oklahoma State got field goals on its first 2 possessions. And
been down here before, and all they could manage to get out of it were the 2 field goals that you were talking about.
Gordon's got 15 rushing touchdowns. Make it 16.
Not this time, though. to get the big fella into the end zone. "16 rushing touchdowns this year for Ollie Gordon. He's second.
Is good and Oakland
clearly in. They're able to take care of business in the Big Ten championship game.
I think that's where you'll see some of that turn, right? You have to account for conference championships. That is one of the key criteria for the selection committee. Keelan Marion dumped across the 25, and that's where BYU begins.
See if Reslap can keep this offense going. Had a long 80-yard drive earlier, and going to need to continue scoring here before you allow any of this momentum to get traction for Oklahoma State.
It's just the fourth start at this level for Jake Retzlaff. Came in a few weeks ago for the injured Keaton Slovis. Slovis, the former USC quarterback, played at Pittsburgh last year. Here's pressure. Retzlaff has to get rid of it. Intended for L.J. Martin, and it's broken up, incomplete. Justin Kirkland detonating that play for the Cowboy defense.
Big fella. Big fella's got the high pants going. He can move a little bit faster. He's right out there in space making plays as a defensive lineman. A nose tackle at that.
He's a Utah native. Began his career at Utah Tech, FCS school. On the fly sweep. Here's some room on the outside. It's Marion. And a first down for BYU.
17 Keelan Marion.
A nice block by Isaac Rex, the tight end, out on the edges. And that allowed for Marion to turn the corner. He has some speed as well to kind of accelerate and get himself around the corner.
Just the presence of a running quarterback has opened up so much of the BYU run game the last few weeks.
Forces you to play 11 on 11 defensively.
Two tight ends stacked to the right. Martin gets the handoff. And he is out to the 42-yard line. The true freshman from El Paso came into the game as BYU's leading rusher.
Played more earlier in the year with Robbins banged up. And then lately they've tried to get him a little more work. And Robbins has been really the feature back the last few weeks.
Almost identical stat lines for both teams. Both teams have 95 yards rushing. Oklahoma State one more passing yard than BYU. Robbins is stopped, and it brings up a third down. Kendall Daniels, again, we've said his name a lot.
Just having a tough go of it, going between the tackles with Robbins. Not being moved inside are the Cowboys, and force you to go bounce those runs outside.
BYU 2 for 7 on third down, 28% on the season coming into play, which was last in the Big 12. Play clock winding down. They just get it off. Retzlaff to the air. A lot of contact. No flag.
Oh, if this ball slipped out of his hands or hand or what, or if it was tipped. But man, it just hung up in the air forever. I don't believe that it just slipped out of the hand of Retzlaff. Anything there, Andre? A little hold at the end, but I don't
like when the ball was in the air,
yeah.
Cam Smith is engaged with the receiver. Presley lets this bounce, has some English on it, and down at the 17-yard line. So Oklahoma State scored on its first possession of the third quarter. Lavelle Edwards is the answer to part one, and you know who played, or who Mike Gundy played for.
Oh, yeah, I do. Lonnie Satake, Mike Gundy coached at their alma maters. Who were their coaches?
Leon Johnson continues to make plays for Oklahoma State.
Starting to assert himself with that big 6'5" frame. And it's just a simple slant route trying to give Alan Bowman an easy throw to get his confidence going. Maybe, just maybe, Oklahoma State has time to get to that 9th win and a trip to the Big 12 championship game.
On the ground, Gordon zigzags across midfield. He's closing in on yet another 100-yard game.
Well, the offensive line starting to effectively get Gordon to the second level, and then now, once they do that, it's his job to make the guy on the third level miss and turn, you know, some pretty average runs into big plays. He's been able to do it here.
17 carries, 94 yards for Gordon. Off play action. Bowman throws it away. Andre, earlier this year, Gordon had back-to-back games where he just went ham.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside the pocket and legally grounded the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Second down.
Gordon went for 282 and 271 in back-to-back weeks. You played with and against the only other guy at Oklahoma State to do that.
Yeah, Barry Sanders, and he was special. You look at the season he had, I don't know that any running back will ever be able to duplicate what he did at Oklahoma State his last year.
Short pass completed. It's Gordon, third down.
You know, gentlemen, when you watch Ollie Gordon, too, he plays with such passion and effort, and his teammate Brennan Presley told me you would think he's a zero-star recruit, massive chip on his shoulder, and he never wears down. Presley said he spices up when teams try to stop him, and in the second half, he only gets better. Boy, do they need him now.
They need him. They need Presley to get himself going.
Plenty of time. Johnson is open, flag down.
Wondering if Johnson didn't kind of create some room, but I think this is going to be against BYU in the secondary.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 5. Defense, penalties decline. Result of the play is a completed pass, first down, Oklahoma State.
We can find it here against let's see, number 5 in the front. Well, he's down at the bottom. He's been following Eddie Haggard. He's been following Presley around. So it's wherever that foul was, it's him working against Presley.
To the outside, Presley. And he spun down for a first down, and now a flag at the end of the play. Presley went down funny. Was he tackled by the horse collar or the face mask, or is this coming back? Looks like it might be coming back.
Look, this is offensive interference where they ran
holding
a pick.
Number 17, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's still first down.
It's Leon Johnson actually blocking for Brennan Presley once the ball is caught. So you're going to see number 17 and a work. It's Crew Wakely, and Just grabs him by the back of the jersey. I don't know. He kind of threw him. I don't know if there's much of a hole there.
So it sets up a 1st and 12.
The spot of the foul was at the
32.
25-yard line. First down.
They'll back it up 3 more yards. 1st and 15.
I like the response that Oklahoma State has shown here in the second half.
Nothing for Gordon. Tyler Batty in on the play.
He's having some game, isn't he? Separate and aside from the fake punt reception that Tyler Batty caught for a 1st down, he has done some pretty good things on the defensive side as well.
Came into the game leading BYU in sacks. He has been their most consistent defensive player. Out of an empty set, BYU rushes 3. Bowman pump fakes and they get home with 3. It's Batty.
Guess who? Start talking about a guy, maybe here's you, and starts contributing in a major way. Already a big part of this game for BYU. At the top of the screen, coming off the edge, just a power rush to get to Bowman, who just, I think he thought he was more protected than he actually was, and Batty had other ideas.
Only the 11th sack of the season for BYU. Just the 6th in conference play. Low snap. Johnson on the drag route had to make the first guy miss, and he can't get past Thule. It'll bring up 4th down.
A heck of an open field tackle by Thule. Thule has been all over the field along with Batty. Two defensive players who we've called their names a lot here in this game.
And when you turn on the film, Thule seems to be in on almost every other play for BYU.
He does. He is a sideline to sideline player, and you see Batty a lot as well. 2 guys that are really stepping up here at the 3rd quarter of this one.
Nyberg waits inside the 10, cocked to kick it away.
TF Trades and buy fractional shares with as little.
The 10. BYU looking to become bowl eligible. Oklahoma State, Thomas, Barry Sanders, Hartley Dykes, Pat Jones at the helm.
Pretty good teams doing that run in that era.
Retzlaff under pressure has to throw it away. That's not pass interference. That ball was behind the line of scrimmage. You played against those teams.
Yeah, played against my freshman year against Pat Jones and that talented Cowboy team with Barry and Mike Gundy as his quarterback and Thurman Thomas, Hartley Dykes. They were really, really good. They gave us a spanking that opening game of the season.
Marion, the motion man. The handoff is to Robbins. Into a sea of orange and black for a short game. 3rd down.
Trying to get back on schedule are the Cougars of BYU with Aiden Robbins, and big physical downhill runner at 6'3", 240. Just can't seem to get him going though. I mean, I know the stat number looks good, 11 carries, 64 yards, but they're expecting much more out of Robbins in this one.
And something BYU hasn't had today, much of the quarterback run game. 3rd downs continue to be a struggle as well.
The quarterback draws attractive with this look.
Instead, another run to Robbins. He won't get there. And Oklahoma State will get it back.
A different look to this Oklahoma State team after halftime. Paul said that Coach Gundy was calm, cool, calm, and collected in the locker room after halftime. That's usually where furniture's moving.
Yeah, the team was not out on the field until about 90 seconds before the 2nd half kick. Presley lets this bounce. Soggy field. It rolls inside the 35 down to the 32. Next week, Monday Night Football takes us to Minneapolis. NFC North matchup between the Bears and Vikings. Almost shockingly, Kirk Cousins goes down. We thought maybe a fire sale. Will the Vikings trade away all their pieces? No, Josh Dobbs is coming in. Now the rocket scientist.
Picked up Josh Dobbs on my fantasy team. Man's playing some pretty good football. 2-1 since, 66% completion rate. And responsible for 7 touchdowns. He's getting it done in the air and on the ground.
Bowman will try it through the air. He's got Bray. Last week, Bray returned to the lineup after missing 3 games.
Something to look at. You saw Tyler Batty's sack on that last time out. Offensive line coach for Oklahoma State, Charlie Dickey, was not pleased. He said they got to Bowman with a 3-man rush. You're better than that. That can't happen. So let's see if BYU brings the house or just stays with their typical 3-man front rush.
He's already changed things by going 4-man front.
Bowman's got time. Incomplete for Presley. That was a wrinkle that we saw last week from BYU. They've been using mostly odd-man fronts for most of the season. They went to a 4-man front against Oklahoma.
Yeah, and they were able to get some production. And they've been, in this game, going back and forth between 3- and 4-man fronts for the most part, or the better part of this game, and just trying to confuse the offensive line, confuse pass protections, and help out in the secondary when they go 3-man front.
Now they'll bring pressure. Here's Presley. That's Cassidy. He's tackled right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Braden Cassidy originally came to Oklahoma State as a defensive end. Moved to that H-back role.
And a short gain right around the line of scrimmage. You run those crossing routes, you want to be building to about 5 yards and flatten off if you have to. Nobody was around, and he just kind of ran the route right at the line of scrimmage. So when he caught it and was tackled, there was no gain on the play.
He has 3 receptions this year for a total of 0 yards. Bowman stands in the pocket and delivers a strike to his tight end, Josiah Johnson. First down.
And the 20th catch of the year for Johnson. As you mentioned, on a crossing route, Bowman's looking to his left, and then all of a sudden Johnson kind of comes right into his vision, crossing from right to left. Nice throw and catch.